Wanted to talk to you about an alternative strategy to still purchase this property. As you know, I'm sure you're aware, there's issues with getting the loan now that it's not qualifying due to the inspection.
Yep.
So another option is what's called creative financing. And I can try to explain to you how this would work, but it essentially would do the same effect, which is getting the property sold. But we just have to think outside the box a little bit. We would not be getting a new loan and then paying off your old loan and then you getting the difference in cash. We would have to do it a little bit different. It's not ideal because, you know, getting a new loan, paying off your old loan, and you walking away with the difference was the original plan. That would be ideal. But since that's not the case now, we can explore a different option, which is to be creative with it. So I can explain that to you. If you're open-minded to a different way of still getting the deal done, this is a great alternative. I do this strategy all the time, or this way of buying properties all the time. Let me walk you through it. Tell me if this makes sense to you. Your balance on your loan is $212,700 and some change. Now you bought it for $240, you put money down, you've been paying on principal or whatever, but the balance right now, if you were to pay off your loan, the balance owed is $212.
One question for you, Jerry. Dimitri sent you over the payoff balance for my mortgage company, correct?
Yes, I looked at it.
Yeah. So did you see that the total required for payoff is $244.95? That's with escrow and FHA insurance interest due.
$212 principal balance, $1,000 in interest, FHA insurance of $298, escrow overdrawn $30,000. What's that?
Yeah. So I was going to explain that to you. So my mortgage company, when we initially got the loan, they were paying the property taxes for like the first 2 years, and for some reason they stopped paying our property taxes to Crim in Puerto Rico.
Oh,
and
okay.
We got this last month paid the property taxes that were owed. So that's what that $30,000 is, because they made a mistake.
How is that adjusting in your monthly escrow though? Because did they just add it to the loan payoff? Looks like it.
That's what they did. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're proposing is you have a price right now with Dimitri for $323, correct?
Yeah.
So we would keep the price $323. So we're still buying the property from you for $323. But what we're going to do is we're going to take over your loan. Now we're not going to assume your loan. We're going to take over your loan. So then we take full responsibility for your loan. We make the payment every month. We pay the escrow. We pay the property taxes. We pay all of it, just like you're doing now. But we take that over. So now you don't have to worry about that loan anymore. And we start making the payments and take responsibility for the property. Then what we're going to do is there's still a big amount short, right? Because the price is $323. So we're going to start with $323. That's the sale price. Then we're going to take over the existing loan, which is not $212 because you got that $30,000 escrow that they added onto the loan. So then the new loan that is being taken over is for $244. So if you subtract $323 from $244, that leaves $79,000 that's still owed to you. Dimitri's going to give you $25 in cash. Now that's going to pay your commissions and closing fees and stuff, which means there's a balance of $54 that's still owed to you. That $54,000 is going to be paid with a loan to you. It's called a seller finance. So you're the bank. There's a loan between Dimitri and you for $54,000, and it's recorded. So it's a lien on the property, just like a mortgage is. It's a second position lien because there's already a loan in place with the bank. And, you know, there'll be an interest rate, let's say 5%, and a payment every month. And we'll put a balloon on that. A balloon means there's a deadline to pay it off. That would need to be like 5 years. And anytime between now and 5 years, he can pay down principal, but the whole amount, whatever balance is owed, would be due by the end of the 5 years. So we would probably amortize the loan over 30 years. So there's a payment, and he makes a principal and interest payment directly to you So all it means is you don't get today, you get it over time and earn interest on it, which is kind of great. You're earning interest, so it's making money. And then whatever balance is still owed gets paid off at anytime between now and the end of 5 years. And then the $25,000 in cash at closing. So it allows you to get out of the property, pay all your fees at closing, because you're going to owe you're going to owe both agents commissions, and you're going to have, some closing fees. You always do. And then you're able to, sell this property. The problem you're going to have here is any buyer that comes along with traditional financing is going to run into the same problems. You have a septic that's not going to pass inspection. And now technically you have to disclose that to sellers. So any new buyers, any new buyer that comes along, you have to now legally tell them that there's an issue with your septic, because now you know about it. So you have a duty to disclose that. What we're proposing is no change in price, still sell the property, still close, and all of that's above board. We use a specialist that does this. They put the paperwork all together, and it's all recorded. It's all on the up and up. I do deals like this every day, pretty much. That makes sense? Where are you stuck at? What's confusing still or unclear? Yeah. So then what would happen is, at any point in time, if Dimitri refinances the property or sells it, I guess, then that first position loan gets paid off in full. So when he goes to pay off that loan with, what was the bank? West something? SunWest. When he pays off that loan to SunWest, then he's got to pay off the whole loan, which is the 244 number. That's why the loan balance is subtracted from the price.
Okay.
What is your total commissions that are owed?
My realtor?
Yeah, there's two agents. What's your total? Is it 6%?
Yes, 6.
On 323,000, let's say it's 6% total, 19,000 has to go to commissions. And I would probably, if it were me, here's what I would do. I'd go to both those agents and I'd say, look, things have changed. We can't sell this property really because it can't get a loan. Dimitri's still willing to buy it using creative financing. You guys need to take a little bit of a discount to kind of help out with this. And maybe they'll each do like 2% and you can save a little bit there. It's either that or the deal falls apart. And I think everybody wants to see the deal happen, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But if you could get it down a little bit, then you'd be paying 323. Let's say you're paying 4% total. That's 13,000 instead of 20,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, the deal falls apart. You go back on market and you go through all this drama all over again with another buyer.
Or it will still stay under my name.
Correct. That's a great question. Yes. So the title gets transferred. So the deed now would be in Dimitri's name. So he would be the owner, but the loan would stay in your name. Now, the concern with that would be it stays in your name. It also stays on your credit. So what happens when you try to get a new loan is a common question, right? The way that we typically handle that is if you go to get a new loan, the new lender is going to look at your debt to income ratio and they're going to see you have this outstanding loan. And then that's going to affect your ability to borrow, correct? So what we do in that case is we show them that somebody else is paying that loan and we show them proof of that. We even do we have a third-party servicing company that handles the payments every month. And then that shows them that that loan is no longer being paid by you and it's being paid by somebody else. And the new lender then will subtract that from your debt to income ratio is typically how we do that. That makes sense? Yeah, that way it doesn't affect your debt to income. And that's similar, like if you own a rental property, they do the same thing. If you own a rental property, let's say I've got I've got a loan on a rental property for $1,000 a month, and I've got a tenant paying the rent. They'll look at the rental income and subtract the loan from the debt to income. So it's similar to that. As long as the new lender can verify that you're not paying on that loan and someone else is, often they'll subtract it from the debt to income.
It just has to be correctly documented though, right?
Yeah, and that's why we use a third-party servicing company. It's proof to the new lender that you're not paying it and it's getting paid every month by someone else.
Okay.
It's the best solution for a situation like this.
Okay.
You just have to be okay knowing that the balance in cash that you would have been getting, it's now a cash flowing loan to you. Now you're earning 5% interest on the money that's owed you and still getting it paid over time. So it's actually a pretty good thing if you think about it. It just means you don't get the cash today, you get it over time.
With interest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll cover all the costs to do the deal, because I work with they're called a transaction coordinator, but she's really great. She'll take care of all of the setting up the subject to, it's called, which is taking over the loan, the servicing, getting all that done, and the new loan for the financing on the second, I forget what it was, $54,000 loan, set that all up and get it and work with title and get it all done for closing. So, you know, the agents don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. We take care of all that at our cost.
Okay. What do we need to do with the agents then as far as their commissions?
Well, I mean, technically you signed a listing agreement, so you're going to owe them whatever you've agreed on because the sale is still happening for 323. I would just go back to the agents. If it were me, you don't have to do this, but if it were me, I would have a conversation with both those agents and I'd say, hey, we found a solution to still close on this deal, but it means I'm not walking away with much cash and it's not ideal. It's not what I thought was happening. It's not what I want to have happen. And I need you guys to also be creative. Everybody's trying to be creative here to get a deal done. I need you guys to be willing to take a little bit of discount in your commission so that we can get this deal done. That would just free up about $8,000 or $7,000 in cash that you could get at closing.
Yeah.
When something like this happens, I like to tell agents, you can get 3% of nothing, or you can get 2% of 323. What do you want? If the deal falls apart, they don't get a dime. Nobody gets anything.
Yeah.
So, like, guys, you want to get this deal done? Everybody's worked really hard. We're at the finish line here. You want to get the deal done. Instead of me walking away with some cash, I'm walking away with pretty much nothing. I need you guys to take a discount on your commissions. And most real estate agents are reasonable. They get it. They don't want the deal to fall apart. And all that's going to happen is the same thing's going to happen all over again with a new buyer. So why go through this all over again?
Yeah.
Because that septic's not going to pass an inspection.
Understood. Okay.
Where are you from on the mainland?
I'm currently living in Oklahoma.
You left Puerto Rico for Oklahoma? What are you thinking?
Yeah, the wind farm that got destroyed during Hurricane Maria, that was my site. I was the site manager there.
So you were here for work, not by choice, really.
It required me to go to Oklahoma, which my parents still live in Colorado, so I'm close to them. So, you know.
Jerry, is it make sense, because right now we're supposed to connect with the agents. What do you think is the right solution at this point? Let Devin talk to them? Do we have to connect to them? Or?
I don't want to talk to those knuckleheads. They just need to get out of the way now. They're going to screw it all up. You can, the agent's representing you, Devin, like they're your representation. Your agent representing you as the seller's agent, the listing agent. Technically they're supposed to, advise you and tell you how to do things, but
yes.
We skipped all that and had this conversation ourselves. Normally what would happen is I would explain this to Dimitri's agent. Dimitri's agent would explain it to your agent, and your agent would explain it to you. And by the time it got to you, it would be so confusing and screwed up that it wouldn't make sense. Most agents don't understand creative financing. They just don't understand how it works. it's not complicated, but it's just not something they normally do.
Yeah, we've already discussed this with both of our agents. They looked at us like we crawled out from our rocket.
Yep.
Here's what we could do. If you're agreeing to this, they are going to need to redo like an addendum to the contract, you know, that has a paragraph that kind of explains the new terms. But the price isn't changing. Nothing's really changing. So I think we could just come up with a simple addendum and then still schedule closing. And so I could just do a conference call with those two and just explain to them, here's what we're doing, just so they're aware and they can create the addendum. But I really think you just want to be careful not to have them complicate the whole thing.
Yes. I haven't discussed this with my wife yet. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you're married or not, Gary, but my wife's kind of boss sometimes, most 99% of the time. So.
I am married and I get it. That's smart. Happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
Talk to her, make sure she's on board. If she's got any questions, let me know. But I think this is a great solution to still get the deal done.
And Jerry, can we get on the Zoom so you can, because I don't think that Devin will be able to explain exactly the way you do to those knuckleheads.
No, but get the wife on board first so we don't waste time with it.
Yeah.
Once you say you're on board, Devin, like once you say, yes, guys, let's do it, then let's get on the call with the two agents and maybe we just do a Zoom and I send a link out and they get on a Zoom. I don't mind telling them what we're doing, if that's helpful.
Devin.
Well, let me talk to my wife and see what we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, Devin.
Jerry, thanks for your time, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hope you guys work it all out.